Welcome to the 34th episode of the It's Been Said podcast. I'm your host, SAI Executive Director Lisa Remy. Each show is dedicated to conversations on leadership as we further SAI's mission to support, encourage, and develop Iowa's educational leaders and learners. Today, we're diving into a topic that has the possibility of changing the game for school administrators: how artificial intelligence can transform your daily work. From streamlining communication and automating repetitive tasks to using data-driven insights for stronger decision-making, AI isn't just a futuristic concept anymore. It's here, it's practical, and it's capable of freeing up your time so you can focus on what truly matters: leading strategically and supporting your school community. Our guest today is Matthew Hassig, Associate Principal at Davenport West High School. Matthew will give you real examples, useful tools, and simple steps you can take away today. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing your talents with us and our listeners. So let's start off first and just how would you describe your perspective on the current landscape of AI in education, and then specifically to school administration?
AI is coming on strong and fast. I mean, it is everywhere. I like technology. I try and make it a point to know kind of what's out there. I taught English way back when. It's something I found to be, useful in getting a hook for my students. But I go to technology conferences with teachers in the district, and it is everything that people are talking about because of the things that it can do. So with that, it's becoming a tool that is bleeding over into school administration because of the things it can do, because it can help leaders manage complex tasks, analyze data, which is huge, and with that, improve efficiency. I mean, when ChatGPT came out, I just got done with my doctorate, my dissertation, and I thought to myself, that are you kidding me? I could have used this, but it is what it is. You just you take a look at it and for what it is and what things can do to help. It's evolving. Some districts are adopting things early. We went through kind of adopting our own policy in Davenport this past year. Some districts have done it before then. Other districts are still, starting to kind of look at that. I'm part of a different board of the state, and they asked me to maybe be on the AI for the state, which I hope they ask me. That'd be great. And probably, once the state gets their own AI policy, everyone else can kind of either follow suit or make sure things align. It'll make it easier. But, it's growing emphasis is just making sure that, we use it ethically and transparently. Where the focus had been, we can't have kids use it. There's no way we can't have kids use it because it's going to be the ruin of everything. Well, how can we use it for the benefit of the students, for us and the schools and everything else? Because it's a huge, it's not going anywhere for one, but it can help us in so many different ways, as long as we use it ethically, transparently, and the goal isn't to replace anyone; it's to support the people that we have, to support human decision making. That's what I got.
Yeah. Yeah. Matthew, I appreciate you saying, people are in different spots, right? As when technology changes,
Always.
we know that we all are in different spaces. And I can remember probably a year ago hearing mostly about how do we keep kids from using it, like you just mentioned. And I think in some places maybe it's still there, but I think we've evolved into how do we ourselves use it to help us be more efficient? And then how can we help kids understand how they can use it ethically, transparently? And I think, in my opinion, in order to be helping kids be prepared for the world, right? The real
Yes.
world,
Yeah.
as they say, it's there. So we need to introduce them to it where it can be safe and help them grow through that. But what inspired you, Matthew, to explore AI, from that lens of, hey, it's here to stay, so let's figure out how we can use it. Was there a specific problem you were trying to solve, or why did you dig into it?
A couple of reasons. First, I said, like, I like technology. I always like to keep in the know. And there are so many different areas of a school that can benefit from AI. A lot of the things that I do at my school, I deal with interviews. I mean, HR department. I mean, some schools, some districts. I mean, a school may have, HR, all types of part of the district all in one place. So HR is one place where that may, help. So where I had, people from across the district would reach out to me because I've been here a while and say, hey, do you have any questions for, a CTE position or a biology, whatever it is, wherever the case may be. I have to have them on my, my drive or whatever. First I started with probably just writing questions for interviews, but you can tailor it to the position, your school demographics, your district, all that kind of stuff. Say, hey, I'm looking for, give me 12 questions. I'm looking for high school, looking for this position. This is where my students are. We may be high risk, all this kind of stuff. The question, and the people will talk about all the time, your prompt, the thing that you ask, the better that is, the better your results are going to be. And starting there, it's kind of where I kind of probably started to get the most start in AI. I went to computer science is part of the board that I'm on for the state, but I went to computer science week, and that's where I kind of first started in learning about AI. And then our first problem, I think, was when I had to kind of figure out using AI to help with a problem for the district. We had some issues with some students, things have been going on, but so our superintendent had sent out, a personal video, send it out to all the community, the parents and everything else, and say, hey, this is what's going on. That's something dumb, but I mean, the students are doing this and it's just destructive. It's like based on TikTok stuff or whatever it was. But then, it happened again. So, they're like, well, we sent out the videos, everything else. So we got to, lay the hammer down. And what I said was that, well, we didn't put it out in Spanish because, the parents were not English speakers. So I found, looking back to where I'd gone to for computer science week, places like 11 Labs does AI. And that's another one of the no charge things I'll speak about later. But they work with Val Kilmer. Everything that's in education comes from the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
They work with Val Kilmer when he was losing his voice. So they will take somebody's voice and be able to replicate it. So I took his video that he had made, and I thought, well, I wonder if I can put this into a different language. And I put it into Spanish, and I was amazed. I thought it would just be, just come out into some random Spanish sounding whatever it would be. And hopefully that would come out okay. Not only did it keep his voice, it kept his intonation, his inflection, everything. So it was like he was speaking this, and it was him saying it. So the video was him saying this, and it was his voice. So it transformed everything. So that was fantastic. So that was the first time that we used that to solve a problem, I guess, to make sure that we can reach all of our families.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. I didn't even think about uploading a video and
Yep.
asking it to, that's fantastic. So, what do you have any other examples besides that video, Matthew, and or like questions for an interview that you may have utilized, or our listeners might go, "Hey, I could possibly dabble into using AI for that as well."
Sure. Well, yeah, I've got, say you have something that happens, the the things that you don't want to see happen in a school. Okay. The biggest things, I'm an associate principal at West High School. I went to this school way back when. I don't want to talk about when because it's been a while. But my kids went to school here. All those things. So you're part of the school. A lot of our teachers are part of the school. The parents are part of the school. So when something happens, you want to know. You you want to know what's going on as soon as possible. You don't want to wait around until the powers that be craft the perfect um, email that may take hours and hours in order to make sure everything's done correctly. Um, with the help of AI, if you put in, hey, this is what's going on, I want to generate an email to the families. Um, put in um, what kind of things are happening. It will give you a response to send out to the families that you can do, and just so they have information. Information is what they want. I mean, they just want to know that the kids are okay or whatever's going on. Okay, and one of the things that I like to do is um, perplexity. Perplexity is what I like. I said that I used. Um, Perplexity is based on it's research based. I mean, everyone's got their favorite, whether it's ChatGPT or everything else. Everyone has their favorite. I like Perplexity because it will give you the sources that it uses, so it doesn't just sometimes do hallucinations and make up the stuff. It will tell you what sources it's pulling from, so it will tell you it's taking things from, things across the country as far as things that it should be using to create these, and it will give you, hey, this is a letter that you can send out, and then you take a look at these and um, you can adjust to what it is, adapt it to what you want to send. Now, depending on whether it's a large district, small district, it may not be what you actually send out, but it's a starting point, which is huge because it takes the reinventing the wheel out of what happens all the time. Right?
Yeah, yeah. And it can help you, like you said, be quicker at getting that
Oh
message
yeah,
out too. Yeah.
yes. Speed is everything. They want to know everything right now because
Yeah.
that's the world we live in, where things are happening just like this. So
Yeah, absolutely. That leads me into my next question about platforms or AI tools that you've used. So you've mentioned ChatGPT, you
sure.
just mentioned again Perplexity. Any other AI tools or platforms that you have used and or would suggest other administrators think about using?
Sure. And again, it depends on what it is that you want to do. People say, what can you do with AI? Well, I always ask, well, what do you want to do with AI? Um, there, what I, for technology things for me are, um, sure, they're useful to me and they're fun. I have, I don't always see the bigger picture on what other people may see a benefit for. If that makes sense? Um, and I should probably switch that around. I was at SAI last year, and I had something that I wanted to do with AI and have it make things easier for me. Okay, um, the evaluation process for teachers. For me, as a language arts teacher, wanting to make sure things were done, well, done correctly. I don't like things not telling a story of what a teacher is actually doing in the classroom. So evaluations is something that I wanted to to be able to do. So I created something through, there's actually a Chat GPT plugin for Sheets in Google, okay? And Google and Google Sheets and Google, it's not Google, it's Google Docs, okay? So it can help you there. The problem I had, I was dealing with some other issues because some things aren't in the district yet, but you can share things between your outside and the inside, because everything you want to make sure is we're talking about making sure things are safe. You want to make sure things are good with the district. So not using any names, I want to make sure that this worked using an outside source. So using the standards and criteria for all of the different things that a teacher may meet to for those standards, creating a spreadsheet, and actually then a Google form as far as what someone could do, and leaving places for places to fill in as far as how a teacher would meet particular standards. But for all of those different standards and criteria, all of the different articles that meet those, created that, and where I could actually make a checklist and actually go through all that with the teachers as far as, hey, I want to make sure that I cover everything that you're doing to meet the standards. And conversation is everything with the teachers as far as, making sure that after you go through the lesson, I want to make sure that you do things for that, the comprehensive evaluation. I could get this and then plug it in, and then the AI can actually write the evaluation for all the 8 standards. And it took what would take me, hours, because I'm a perfectionist, want to make sure things are done correctly. It would put all that into sentences and take what the teacher has done and put that into an evaluation for that teacher. And that was huge for me. But, at SAI, I was just like, hey, you want to see something cool? And I told somebody about it that I was, sitting next to. And by the end of the day, must have been 10 other people come up to me and say, hey, when are you presenting this? They thought I was presenting it last year. Like, I'm not. So that's one of the things as far as that goes. Gamma is another one that I would suggest. I am no good at creating presentations, PowerPoints, things like that. I am not an artistic mind as far as that goes. I don't make things look pretty at all. If you go to Gamma AI and you explain what it is that you want to make a presentation about, it will make it for you. And it's just like that. And it will create that presentation. It may ask you, hey, these are what I can make the presentation on based on, these slides based on, I can split it like this. And if that's okay with you, you can change these if you want to, but then it will create the entire presentation for you. That's great. That would take me longer than I care to even talk about, because I'm not that guy. There are things like Otter AI. Otter AI is something for meeting transcription and note taking. Turn that on, and it will create take all the notes and the stuff for you. So all this stuff is out there. People have their favorites. It just all depends. And there's more coming all the time.
Yeah. So Matthew, if I was feeling overwhelmed by AI and I reached out to you, what would you say? Hey, just dabble in this or start with this. Where would you recommend an administrator start?
Okay. I would just say start with Perplexity. I mean, people, like I said, people start with ChatGPT because that's the big one. I would say start with Perplexity because that one is backed by sources. I mean, other places will say that they are too, but this will show you what sources they are. And it's not just a one and done. You can have conversations with the thing, because like I said, when I was having issues trying to create like the code in that Chat GPT, the plug-in things where you have to make some code. I was asking Perplexity. I said, "Hey, look, I'm trying to do this. Can you tell me what I need to do?" And it told me exactly what I needed to do. So I followed the directions, and then something wasn't working right. I said, "Okay, here's the code that I have. It's not doing what I need to do." And it's like, "Oh yeah, I see what you're doing. Here's what happened. You copied not only this code, but also the brackets of before and after. That's probably my fault. I shouldn't have put that for you." It's it's like a therapist for you while you're trying to get to learn technology. So it's pretty great.
Yeah. Is there one administrative task that you could think of that you'd say, start using Perplexity for this particular task? Would you start with evaluation, or would you start somewhere else?
Well, it depends on what the person's. Everyone has their own thing that they want to that kind of gets to them.
Yeah.
I mean, like in bigger schools are different than smaller schools.
Yeah.
Where smaller schools have some issues. We're dealing with going from 4 blocks a day to going to 8. So I plan on directing teachers and everyone else to use Perplexity or other things to ask how to make the changes from the day from here to there, because that's an easy transition. How do I transition these lessons from a 90 period day to a 40? Because everything it can make those changes for you. So it just there isn't one. It all depends on what it is that you want to do. I would take a look at the things that have things that are free. I guess if for meeting transcription, just to see what it is, maybe you want to use that Otter AI for learning prompts, because learning prompts and how to word it correctly. Maybe you would mess with that Perplexity AI just to ask questions, whether it was, just lessons on, whether it's questions for interviews. It could be, okay, even though I'm an English guy, for a lot of times when I'm writing emails, I don't send emails very often. I'll get up and talk to somebody, because you want to make sure that they receive it how you want to have them perceive it, right? Mm-hmm. So with AI, it can make sure that things are with a certain tone. Okay, if you want to say, "Hey, can you make sure this is done and this written in this certain way," or however it is that you want to do. It's like having your own editor right there. All right. So I don't have the perfect answer for that on how it is that you want to start out, because everyone's at a different place, right? It all depends on what it is that you want to do. At the school level, you can have, a lot of times people call in to school all the time. If you can get chatbots going so that they can have their question answered without having to talk to a real person, great. It just depends.
Yeah. Well, you did have a good answer, because it depends on what the problem the individual is trying to solve, right? Yeah. So basically, it could help solve any of your problems, depending upon what that is that you want to have solved.
We're pausing for a brief commercial break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation. Stick around. Our 50th annual conference is coming up, and we are excited to announce a new way to connect with Iowa administrators and more than 150 conference vendors through an exhibitor member social on Tuesday, August 5th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Whether or not you join us for pre-conference on August 5th, pop over to the EMC Expo Center for 2 free beverage tickets, great appetizers, a chance to win some swag, and networking with your colleagues from around the state. This is a great kickoff to our 2-day conference, which starts the next morning of August 6th. See you there. And now, back to our conversation on leadership.
So, You mentioned earlier school data, and there's,
Mhm.
we have in education plethora of data.
Yes. And
So,
it's a lot, a
yeah.
lot.
So, how can AI help administrators really understand or make sense of that large amount of data?
And that's the thing, it's a large amount of data. So what I did was the last time we had our school profiles out there, right? The school report card.
Yep.
So what I did was I took that and first of all, know that all the things that are out there, whether it's our standards, our perplexity, it knows all that stuff. So I don't pay for uh, because there's a lot of places out there that says, hey, pay for this and you'll have extra access to all that kind of stuff. I don't do that for any of the things except for perplexity because there's something that I wanted on there, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to do it for this because I appreciate their focus on creating the sources and the data. What they did was, I'm sorry, what I asked Perplexity to do with the school report card, the profile, is sometimes when we as a school or BSAT or whoever, when we get that information, they'll set that data in front of us. Maybe it's just numbers. Sometimes it have some graphs on it, whatever. And say, okay, what do you think of this? Well, it's what I mean. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes it is not. Um, Sometimes you need to dive in to see minutia in order to find out, what it is that can make improvements or whatever it is. So I asked. In fact, let me look and see, because the thing about Perplexity, it also saves all of your stuff that you ask it, unless you want to take it out. So when I asked, I'm an associate principal at West High School in Davenport, Iowa. I want to look at my school's Iowa school performance profile put out by the Department of Education. Please analyze the report and show me where we should put our energy into making the most gains for students. Use graphs where appropriate. That was my prompt. Okay.
Mhm.
And it gave me West High School performance analysis and strategic improvement recommendations. Reveals critical performance gaps that require immediate sustained intervention across multiple domains. But what it took, which surprised us, says research identifies 6 critical areas where focused intervention can yield the greatest gains for student achievement. Mathematics achievement represents the most urgent priority with 924 students. So it went through all of this. And it said to focus on how to focus on them and what to do. Okay. And it gave summer 2025 preparation phase on exactly what it is that you can do. All right. And conclusion and next steps, and actually gave a cost if you were to put staff into effect for all of this. So it can be as in-depth as you want it to be. It can get you on the right track, because I wasn't thinking that the math was going to be our first place to start as far as that went. It lets you see things that you wouldn't have seen without its help, I guess.
Yeah. And Matthew, when you asked that prompt, did you have to upload the performance profile, or was it able
No,
just to,
I can
right?
pull it because it is part of the public domain.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like you said, it's the importance of that prompt, but that prompt
Yes.
really, yeah, gave you a lot of information then that
Yeah.
you could follow up with. Yeah.
And if you don't know exactly how to word the prompt, you can also ask Perplexity, hey, I want to create a prompt that will do whatever, and it will help you create that prompt.
No, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about that large amount of school data. That was a great example for our listeners. How about communication? You talked a little bit and gave some examples earlier. Are there other, ways that you've used AI to help really streamline that communication, whether that is to your staff, students, or your families?
Um, as far as, whether it helps even our principal here, drafting newsletters to put out,
Mhm.
translating messages. And we are the ELL school for the district. So we have a large number of students who are ELL and families that are ELL. So if we can take the load off of that, because we have several people who do speak several languages. Otherwise, we have some services, some translation services available for the district, which I think is probably available across the state, but it's time intensive. So there's some delay. So it just takes some time. I mean, as far as that goes, I have my new glasses that I got are Meta AI glasses. So I can set those to translate for me, and I can have, I can understand either if someone's speaking to me or if I'm just looking at something and reading. So, I mean, it's going to get better. It's going to keep on improving and making sure that things are available to people so that things are easier.
Yeah. Well, that example of, being able to translate, a couple things come to my mind. One, you're able to personalize then to those
Yeah.
families.
Yep.
Um, and when I worked in a district, it would cost us
Oh,
to
yes.
do translation. So now if AI can help with that, one, again, back to that personalization, it's quicker and you might save a little bit of money. So,
Yes, quite a bit.
yeah, that's
That
a,
11 Labs is in over 100 different languages. It didn't cost a thing.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So that's helpful. How do you feel that school leaders could really foster a culture where staff really feel empowered to utilize AI, integrate it into their daily routines, and not feel threatened by it for staff members?
um, well, know that we're not trying to replace them. I mean, I I I taught technology classes for Drake for a while. Okay, where we had to do podcasts was one of them, and this was before Khan Academy. And I said, you know what would be kind of neat is if we did for math. I wanted our math teachers to record some things of math lessons so that if students were gone, um, you know, the kids would be able to go back and see what they missed, or if they forgot, what it was, and go back. At the time, teachers didn't want to do that because they thought that they would be replaced, right? Um, Letting them know that AI is not going to be here to replace the staff is huge. Um, I mean, look, Khan Academy came, and teachers are still here. Teachers are more valuable than they've been for. There's other stuff piled on, and like it or not, as far as what it is that they need to be doing. But we have to, we have to, okay, we have to offer training for the teachers. I mean, they come out of school. I did some mock interviews for some kids, just coming out of, not kids, sorry, I misspoke, coming out of a college. And I had some questions for them about AI to get their ideas. Um, and one of them talked about the fact that with AI use, students can cite their use of AI and their level of use of AI, and how they used it, whether it was to brainstorm or like just how they did that. And that was a fantastic answer. But I'm like I said, our district, I've taken teachers to conferences where they learn about AI. They need to be able to have that opportunity, and then when those teachers come back, we have them, teach other people. So being able to do that is huge, because they need to know, and they need to know that it's okay to try, it's okay to fail, it's okay to keep on trying. That they're succeeding, celebrate that stuff that's going on, have them collaborate, let them know that, hey, these are great things, and we'll get through this. And it's and they're not, the biggest thing for me when I taught English, I use technology as kind of a hook to get students excited. And you have to let loose of some control, if that makes sense, because you're not going to be the expert all the time. In fact, a lot of the times I learn more from my students than they learn from me. Okay, but you take all that in and keep on going. You just keep on going. So being open to that, and having that kind of a culture where people can just keep on getting better, and knowing that, hey, I can go ask so and so about this, because they know, and I feel okay doing that. I feel comfortable asking that person, and knowing that I don't feel less than by doing that. That's huge.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're creating that culture where, one, you're helping them learn, right? So
Yep.
understanding that everybody's a learner, and supporting them in that journey.
Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. So we know that there are pitfalls sometimes when we use technology. AI is there as well with pitfalls. So what are some of those pitfalls or ethical considerations that our leaders should be thinking about when they're utilizing AI?
Sure. Data privacy is always huge. And like, I'll give you an example. When I did my dissertation, or the IRB, they want to make sure that all the students' data is not there. You can't tell who is who as far as students go. So if anything is going out there, and make sure the student information isn't there. It's disguised somehow. Okay, there are some AI platforms that can be safer than others, because they are part of existing things that we already have in the district, or they're closed. So that's part of the kind of the district's policy, as far as the trying to go through and see which ones are safe for the district to use. Part of our district is figuring out which ones the district is going to approve, and that's part of it. I mean, just because you like a certain thing doesn't mean that it's going to get approved, because it may not be safe for whatever reason. Bias. Certain AI algorithms have certain biases because of the information that it has, I guess. And so I don't want to, like I said, everyone has their own favorite. I go to Perplexity myself because it is based on sources. It's research based, and it will tell you what sources it used.
Yeah.
And then the transparency, communicate how AI is used and how decisions are made. I mean, we want our students to, say if they use AI or not. We kind of want the same thing as far as how we're using AI as well. I mean, I taught English, and every weekend I was carting milk crates full of papers home, right? And there are things that if you put up a rubric, it will grade papers based on your rubric. And that is, I mean, to me, asking a question, and I'm not saying yay or nay, but was I always, depending on what part of the weekend, was I always the same at the beginning of this, was at the end for that rubric? I don't know. Is the AI going to be the same? 100%. So if teachers can use AI for grading towards a rubric, and that gives them that doesn't mean that kid gets that grade, but teachers have that to then go through and reflect, and then not only look at the feedback that was given to them, but they can, use that as a jumping off point.
So last question, what advice would you give to administrators who really just want to use AI, are a little hesitant, but they really know it's the right way to go? What advice would you give?
Sure. Just start small. Learn as you go. I mean, you're always going to be learning. Focus on learning on using AI to enhance your work, not to complicate it. That's not going to help you at all. If you do something like that, it's just going to, and just let it be fun. Keep the focus on serving students and supporting staff. If you find something that you think is also interesting for yourself, that will help too. If you see a purpose for it, it's going to cause you to kind of reflect and do things like that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for giving of your time today. We appreciate it so much, and just appreciate your knowledge in this area, Matthew. So
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode on artificial intelligence. Hope you found it to be valuable, and I encourage you to start dabbling to see how AI can support you in your work as a school leader. I invite you to join us at the SAI Annual Conference on August 6th and 7th. This year's event is celebrating 50 years of learning, inspiration, and innovation. You'll leave feeling renewed, inspired, and connected with others who understand the challenges and joys of leading in education today. Until next time, and remember, we're here to support you in every step of the way. Take care.